#1 take action success coach and strategist, empowering, educating, inspiring, and igniting people like you to take action with jet propulsion. We assist people to find and embrace their life purpose, live their highest vision, and become the next best version of themselves, forging that strong foundation to soar to success. For more information on how to work with me or my team, visit us at ldcstrategies.com. We'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, our goal here at Healthy Lifestyle is, of course, we're going to empower your mind. We're going to talk today about lifting you up, about being healthy, getting healthy. I am on a roll these last few episodes about getting you to start thinking of how you're going to take care of yourself, because if we take care of ourselves on the front end, we don't have all that medical issue on the back end, right? So it also saves money. It's inspiring. So we want to inspire you to take action and ignite success and just go and have this best, most joyous life and fulfill a healthy, emotional, spiritual, and physical life, to live the life you have always wanted and dreamed. So welcome to the show. I hope you're having a great day. I am talking New York speed fast today, so I am going to give you some verbal caffeine to light you up with possibilities with our guest today, Torkil Færø. He is a GP, an emergency physician, a documentary filmmaker. He's a rock star, an author, a photographer. I'm sure he does a bazillion other things. And over a 26-year career as a freelance doctor, he has worked all over Norway, has 100,000 consultation, and gained a unique picture of the disease that plagues us. He learned that the cause is most often found in the stresses of our lifestyles found on our bodies. Sound familiar, guys? And when his father died at 73, he realized that he had to change his own lifestyle. Being 40 pounds overweight, undertrained, overstressed, underslept, and drinking alcohol daily, he learned that this lifestyle could deprive him of decades. So using wearables, he found a way to track and regulate his nervous system and physiology. So I want to welcome you to the show, and thank you so much for being here all the way from Norway, Torkil.
Thank you, Lorianne. It's great to be here.
Oh my
Talking to
gosh.
you.
So glad that you're here. It's just amazing. What a story. What a story. You know, we help other people, especially when we look at ourselves and it's like, okay, I don't want anybody else to feel the way we felt, right? And we start going out there and discovering that. So how does, and I want to just jump right in because that's what I do. How does the heart rate reveal the state of our health?
Yeah, the heart rate reveal the stress level of our health. And because we don't really have good senses toward our inner stress levels, because they would have been in the way from the threats, through ancient times, from other animals and enemies and so on. So the way that we can feel our own stress level is subdued, is muted, and the heart rate will tell us the intensity that we are living under. So any demand on your body would be revealed in the heart rate. And of course, we're busy, we're busy communicating, living our lives, working in, being with friends. And the strain of that is not so easy to feel ourselves. But our heart rate will respond to that. And the wearables and smartwatches that we use today, they're able to give you an estimate of the stress levels 24/7.
Yes, it actually has a heart detector on my iWatch.
Mhm.
And I'll
Yeah.
turn it off every once in a while. I actually used this recently in a Lions meeting to find out somebody's EKG because they just turned gray on us and we're like, he doesn't.
Mhm.
So when we saw the EKG, it was like, yeah, this is not good. We called 911 and, got him
Mhm.
taken care of. So you don't even realize, he kept saying he was fine. He was fine. His color told us otherwise, but he couldn't
Hmm.
own color. I mean, he turned gray right in front of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, these wearable devices, as you refer to them, are just brilliant. I love it because it's also, if I fall in, I can't get up, it sends a message to my partner to let them know, hey, something's going on with Lorianne. So it makes us
Mhm.
more independent too, don't you think?
Yeah. And it's a way that we can use artificial intelligence and modern technology to help us to live our best lives, just as you're talking about. So it will be a great aid in the years to come. It already is, and the potential 5 or 10 years from now is just almost impossible to imagine, right?
Right? It's just amazing, and how we have everything in one place as opposed to wearing all the different devices. So, and how can these like smartwatches and wearables, how can they guide our stress balance? Like, how can we utilize it so we have a better understanding, so we can really recognize when we're stressed out? Because honestly, my heart rate the other day was really high because I went to the doctor's office. They're like, "Why is your heart rate so high?" I'm like, "I don't know. Are you stressed?" I'm like, "I don't think so." Yeah, I am.
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
was, but I'm so used to being at that level that it doesn't bother me. But that's
Mm.
a lot of pressure on your body, right? On all of your organs.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So you'll be like filled with adrenaline and cortisol, and we need quite a lot of downtime to be able to recover and for our immune system to work properly. Much more than we maybe would have thought. So these devices can tell us so much more than we are able to find out ourselves. Because the heart rate, and that's the beauty of it for a physician, that our heart rate compared to our breathing can tell us so much about the state of our autonomic nervous system, whether we are in the parasympathetic restful mode or in the sympathetic stressful mode. And throughout the day, it will calculate and see that if we have a sustainable lifestyle. And, to live our best lives, we have to have health in the bottom of that. And the state of our autonomic nervous system is the basis, the foundation of a good and healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, without a doubt. So how can we use the device to do that? How like what would you suggest? What would be a good strategy for someone to really put in place?
Yeah, the best strategy would be to get a Garmin watch. And the Garmin watch would give you a body battery system so that you would see in the morning how much have you charged of physiological energy during the night. How much energy can you spend this day? And then you can see maybe you would start at 80, for example, and then you would try not to get below 20 in the body battery in the evening. Then you would know that, okay, this is a sustainable level of stress. And everybody would get surprises. And you would be able to see from the graphs, 24/7, exactly where your stress is high and low. And you'll be able to do some detective work and find out what stresses you too much and how can you be able to mitigate the stress.
Yes, I love that you said that. It's like you need to watch it. There's actually um mattresses that now can, and with apps associated with it, that also look at your sleeping pattern
Yeah, the
and
eight sleep. Yeah.
yep. And that helps you determine, where you should be, or that you are stressed out, or that you should take a rest. I do have clients who work 7 days a week, and I was like, please stop doing that. You're gonna
Yeah.
burn yourself out.
You're
It's
going to burn out. Yeah.
and it's actually not productive. I mean, I know sometimes I'm a workaholic, or used to be,
Hmm.
and I would work and work and work and work, and I wasn't really being productive. So
Yeah.
take those rests in between, take the breaks, and then go back. When you leave it and come back, you actually have better solutions.
Hmm.
It gives
Yes,
you,
absolutely. You need the slow, restful time, and that is when your default mode network in your brain is working. That's when your subconscious starts helping you. And if you're just in the productive executive mode all the time, you're not really performing well. So the
right.
best performers, regardless of category, if they're musicians or business people or whatever, the best ones are the ones that are good at rest and recovery. That is when the good ideas come. Like Einstein would go swimming, and you can use that time, the downstate time, to get the good ideas.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's why some of the habits like journaling, meditation, it's really actually an act to quiet your brain, quiet
Yeah.
those little frogs and monkeys in your brain that are going nuts. And so
Mm.
you do get more creative. And that's where the creative people typically don't like scheduling, because that is
Mm.
too structured, and that it really impedes their creative mind. What are some and I know that this is something that's down the line, but like personal and preventative medicines. Like, are we talking natural medicine or pharmaceutical medicines? You speak about that.
Yeah, we're talking natural medicine. Everything that can help you stay healthy is free. It's easily accessible. It's being out in nature under the sun, getting sun exposure,
Vitamin D.
resting, vitamin D, yeah, and many other things, many
Right.
other things. And movement, sleep, rest, eating whole foods, and stay away from ultra processed foods, doing breath work to calm yourself down. not only when you are resting, or sitting or lying, but even as you go, on the go, you can calm yourself down, and then you wouldn't have so much need to rest, So you can keep a full speed, but even do it in a calm way. And staying and or minimizing alcohol would be important. Getting a good circadian rhythm to sleep at night, and have 8 hours or 7 or 8 hours of sleep. All of these things that I'm talking about in my book, The Pulse Cure, is free. That is also the problem because there's no commercial pressure behind it. It's not possible to monetize on this. So except if you, of course, if you're selling a great bed or whatever. But so all of this is free, and when you live in this good lifestyle, you minimize the chances of getting the modern day diseases that are based on a chronic low-grade inflammation because of too much stress. And stress is not only the mental stress or being busy and having a tight schedule. Stress comes from eating pizza, eating candy or crisps, or eating food that you cannot tolerate, maybe gluten or milk and so on. Stress is alcohol. Stress is late night meals. Stress is sleeping too little. And when you see it on your watch, then it becomes so much more manageable because you can see and navigate once you get the numbers from your heart rate.
Yeah. So when I used to use the D word, that's diet. I don't use that word anymore because I just eat healthy, right? I make better choices. But
Mhm.
that would stress me out more because I constantly had to track it or weigh it or do something. That
Mhm.
doesn't work for me at all. If I have to weigh it, if I have to pay attention to it, I pay an inordinate amount of attention to it, and now I'm hungry all the time. So the same thing with this. Like, how do we? Why is it not stressful to track all this by using these devices?
Because you will be able to find the balance and you will feel better. And of course, in the beginning, suddenly you get insight to your own system. It's like getting a dashboard in your car and suddenly have the same kind of dashboard into your own physiology. So in the beginning, it's something very new and difficult and maybe somewhat stressful. But after a while, you understand that, okay, if I do this, then I sleep better, I have more energy, I can do better choices during the day, and so on. And because you can see that it works, and you will get a
Yeah.
better life. Yeah.
So it's like creating a new habit. You have to work at it. At the beginning, it has a learning curve. At the beginning, it may take a few weeks, a few months, but every day it gets a little shorter and shorter, and then you're able to turn it on a dime. So when you're saying you could still have that rapid fire business life, but you know that you can on a dime stop for even 3 minutes, do a meditation, do some breath work, pranayama.
Yeah.
You could do something and switch it back, slow things down, and then get back in, and that creative time will be helpful, but that takes practice and time
Hmm.
and patience.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all,
You must be patient. Yeah. Because getting to know your own physiology and nervous system is a very complex thing. And
we
you
got to learn
need,
to listen to your body, right?
yeah, and the heart, these watches is kind of an amplifier because our bodies kind of whispers and we are poor listeners, and this is kind of an amplifying of the signals that your nervous system and your body is giving you. But like our eyes, we can see 10 million different shades of color. But our heart rate, if I have 60 or 80 in heart rate, I have no idea. And if our senses for our inner stress were as accurate as our eyesight, we would have felt, a tenth of a beat in difference. That we really cannot. If you feel stressed, you are really stressed. And the problem is the low grade stress that is kind of underneath our what we can sense. But day in and day out, that is the problem.
Yeah, that's not a good sentence. It's funny. I love the way you said amplify the signals, that it amplifies I love how you put that. For me too, I use it as a confirmation. Oh, I am feeling what I'm saying. So while you're trying to learn about yourself and pay attention and listen to those whispers that your body is making to you, I think it also acts as a confirmation. Yes, you're listening right. Yes, you're hearing right. Yes, what you're feeling is something you're not, because we're so used to feeling under stress from very little, age-wise, that we get used to it, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. So when you're able to slow down and pay attention and use devices like this for confirmation and to amplify, I think that's really good. I think that's a wonderful thing. So why is tracking particularly important to women?
That would be because the menstrual cycle, and then of course with the years, the menopause would affect the stress levels quite strongly.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
if and when you're able to mitigate the stress, and to see it, then you can mitigate the stress of the menstrual cycle. The week before menstruation is a physiological load on your system. It's a strain. It's not just a feeling of being irritated or frustrated or feeling moody. I can see from the graphs that it's as hard a physiological load as a COVID infection.
Yeah,
So for so many women, it's like having COVID 1 week a month. And if you
awesome.
have PMDD, the more severe kind of it, I can
Right.
see that sometimes it's up to 14 days that they have a really visible stress level. And
Well, you have to
the,
figure your body is shifting. Your body is taking care of itself. It's shifting. So it sends all the little guys into one area and says, take care of this now. So yeah, I can understand why it would give that, but that it actually rates that way on your graphs, that's
yeah,
mind-blowing.
yeah, it is. And once you can see that and you're
Listen up,
able to
man.
mitigate the stress, then you can lower your cortisol, and this curve will go away and it will relieve the symptoms of the PMS because it is coupled to cortisol and progesterone. So it's the high cortisol will disturb the reproductive hormones and giving you this. It's not given, you can avoid it. You can do something about that.
Yeah, and it makes sense. That many women get headaches when they're menstruating.
Migraines and yeah.
Migraines, headaches used to be hit off by that, and it was because of the stress. Yeah, that makes sense because your heart rate is higher, the blood is flowing faster. It's going to give you headaches, and yeah,
Hmm.
that all makes sense. So, all right, question I get all the time: how can we sleep better?
We should wind down 1 to 2 hours before we go to bed and not using alcohol to do that because that will create just a lot of stress. You should stop eating 3 hours before you go to bed, or maybe even four. You should have the bedroom really dark so you cannot see a hand in front of you, and cool, maybe 60 degrees Fahrenheit inside. You should dim the lights in the evening, and you should make sure that you have a good sleep consistency, that you go to bed and wake up more or less at the same time every day, so that your brain is prepared to sleep effectively. And you would need 7 to 8 hours of sleep, of actual sleep, not just time in bed, but what your wearable will tell you will sleep. Usually it will be half an hour subtracted, from the bedtime, because you will be awake also somewhat during the night. And in the morning, you should be careful to get the morning light into your eyes as early as you can in the morning. That will kind of set the set point for the melatonin release in the evening, 12 hours later. So when you do these things, then that would help to sleep better during the night.
Yeah, because
Also,
we're regulating our inner time clock, right?
yeah, that's right. And to regulate the stress during the day, because if you have too much stress, and particularly in the evening, then it will carry on into the night. So to calm down, after sundown or 7 o'clock or whatever, with something that actually calms you down. So you would need to see that on your wearable that you're actually calm.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and register that. Turn off the news. Don't listen
mm,
to things that are annoying. It's
yeah.
just you want to have that's the time where I always say it's really important to listen, see, hear, and taste good stuff, positive things.
Mm,
So that's a good time to journal. It's a good time to meditate. It's a good time to do red light therapy. It's a good time to do something for yourself. Self-care is really good at that time to kind of wind your body down so
mm.
that you do have that sleep proposition. So what I know that it was the loss of your father, so sorry for your loss, that kind of woke you up, that shook you up.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
and that, what did you do after that? You were like, oh no, this is not going to be my life. So how can I get 24 extra years? I know that you have this thing, it's the top 8 strategies to get 24
Hmm.
more years. Oh wait, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a short break? Oh, I so did this on purpose to you guys. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the 8 strategies that give us 24 extra years to live if we do these 8 strategies. Is that what you're going to share with us?
That's what I want to share. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so you're listening to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come right back. Don't miss out. These 8 strategies are very, very important. Don't forget to pick up Torkil's book, The Pulse Cure. I'm sure it's on Amazon. Go pick that up. The link will be with this episode as well. So go do that. And also, you can visit him at thepulsesecure.com. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Healthy Life with Lorianne. I am Coach Lorianne. And if you would like to be a guest or lift up your business, not for profit or product, or if you have a question or a comment, we would love to hear from you. Please email us at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. That's healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. Wow, I am New York fast today. I just had somebody send me a text. You're going a mile a minute. And I do that. Today on our show, we have Torkil Færø. Unbelievable. Thepulsesecure.com is his website. His book is The Pulse Cure. Please pick it up. It is on Amazon. It's in different modes. I know there's a Kindle version, so that makes me happy. But thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate you being here and sharing all this yummy information. So before we took the break, I said that we were going to talk about the 8 strategies that give us 24 extra years in our life. But before we do that, oh yeah, I went there. Before we do that, I want to know something about exercise. So there are different thoughts in exercising. How hard do I have to exercise, and when should I exercise? What are the best times for us to do that?
The best time would be in the morning for at least endurance activities. For
And why
strength
is that?
training, I'm not sure. I'm just referring to what Andrew Huberman would say.
Yeah.
That would, and that's also my own experience.
I think
And
also we have the
for
most energy at that time too. So, and it also
yeah,
gives us, it propels us. It's almost like fueling us for the day. I think that's why we do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's easier to get the energy early in the morning. If after a rough day at work, you don't have the energy to muster,
Yeah.
to do the hard work. So, yeah, I would say in the morning. And the most important thing is to do the exercise, to do it regularly. It doesn't need to be so hard. Uh, and you need to adjust it to the totality of your stress balance. So if you have a stressful job, a stressful family life, a tight schedule, you may not want to go all in on your workout. So, and this is where the wearables can help you to see if the strain in your workout is not too hard. That many people would train too hard.
Yeah.
Probably in your audience, they would. And so normally, like 3 times a week, 45 minutes, moderately hard, that should be enough.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you'd also need to do some strength work. You need some muscles. That could be as easy as doing squats in between your time at work, because sitting is really dangerous. So if you have a job, that most people have, they're sitting like 8 hours a day. That is really not good for the blood circulation and lymphatic circulation. So we need to maybe like 5 minutes every hour to do some activity. And you can do squats, push-ups, jumping jacks, something that will keep your blood flowing.
Or
That
even
will
yoga.
also,
It could be as simple as yoga. Jumping
yeah,
jacks in a dress is just not pretty. But
yeah.
you could do some yoga. You could do something like that. Make sure you close your door. Um,
Mm,
but it's I think it's important just to get some activity.
mm,
How about just taking a walk, going up and down stairs,
yeah. Or
walking?
just or just jump around the office like a wild animal, you know,
Love it.
just for fun, you know. So
We
it's
call it dancing here in America.
so it's like spontaneous changes of direction is particularly good, you know, that which could be why tennis and racket sports are good because you have to change position
Yeah.
so much it keeps your balance and your coordination also
It's
sharp.
good for
So
the
it's,
core.
yeah. So
Yeah.
tennis is supposed to be the best or racket sport, the best things for longevity. But anyway, you need to stay active then. Have some kind of exercise. That's really important. That's one of those 8 strategies, you know, to
Yeah. Oh,
tell you
don't
one
give
of
them
them.
away yet.
Whoops.
So, why does alcohol stress us out so much?
That is because the alcohol is converted into acetaldehyde in the body, and a certain part of it is also converted into methanol, which is also very toxic. So while we're sleeping, you know, we get really mellow and calm, you know, from the alcohol. Then we go to bed, and then it's converted into acetaldehyde and methanol, and then we are super stressed. And the watches will show you that you will get so much more stress during the night.
Yeah.
And then you will be able to see the physiological price of alcohol. And most people are shocked when they see that. And that it's just 1 or 2 glasses could be enough for so many people.
Wow. Yeah.
So most people, I think I have hardly heard of anyone tracking their system that has not been cutting down on alcohol. Not necessarily being totalists, but that they have been really cutting down on it. So
So you don't have to eliminate it, but yeah, be mindful of how much alcohol you consume. You should be
yeah.
mindful anyway because it really does get in the way of productivity and it gets in the way of your health. And that's,
Mm,
again, we're trying to add time as opposed to subtract it. Now, over here in America, our food has a lot of preservatives in it. It's over
mm,
processed. A lot of it is fake. So
yeah.
what kind of food, what and when should I eat?
It should be whole foods. That would be the most
Well,
important.
define whole
Food
food.
that food that your grandmother would recognize as food. Not just packaged things that you have to read on the label what is inside. So, because they would, as you say, they would have preservatives and many other different molecules that our intestinal system is not constructed to deal with, so it will create inflammation in our intestines,
Yeah.
and that is a big contributor to the inflammation in our bodies. So,
And the fat level in our bodies, because what happens is our bodies don't know what to do with that stuff, so it encapsulates
mm,
the fat cell and stores it someplace, generally on hips and
mm,
thighs, just saying, or our
mm,
stomachs, so it encapsulates it because it's like, I don't know what to do with this, I can't use it, so let me put it over here. So
mm,
it's almost like your body's a hoarder of chemical
mm,
properties. And, we want to get rid of that. So by eating the whole foods, and I always tell people here, shop the external of stores of our supermarkets. Shop the external walls because on the internal walls are all the ones with preservatives. You have a better shot at getting whole products on the outside. That's where your fruits and vegetables are. That's where your milk products, if you do milk products, are. That's where your eggs are.
mm,
That's where your cheeses are. So not all that is healthy, but again, shop on the outside. Your meats are on the outside of the perimeter.
mm,
The stores, I know when we go to markets overseas, when we go to Italy and places like that, the markets are tiny because they don't have all this
mm.
extra stuff. And that you're not
Yeah.
allowed to over there, which is great. And we're hoping that this is the direction America's moving to. And we don't have all this super engineered food. It's just not good for you. Mama
Mm,
Nature did not set us up to be able to really deal with that. And I think that puts a lot of stress on our body too. The choices
mm.
alone.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You'll be worn out, you know, by when you get to the counter. Yeah, absolutely. And you should also maybe have some fasting procedure. either with a restricted feeding window, or maybe 8 hours or 10 hours of eating and the rest is fasting. Maybe you would want to do a 24 hours or 48 hours fast to reset your body
Yeah.
and to start autophagy, so that the cells, your body will start to recycle the worst cells and use that material to build newer and stronger cells. So
That's
that
the
is a very
benefit that's
important.
the benefit of doing a fasting is for,
Yes,
huh.
the autophagy, self-eating, so that your body starts eating those cells first, or using that material instead of what you're putting into it.
And
Yeah.
how often can somebody do that and still stay healthy and safe? Like, can you do it once a month? Can you do it once a week?
Oh yeah, both of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think just having the restricted feeding window is very helpful for so many people because your intestines needs the downtime to recover and repair.
So
So
what would
it's
that feeding window look like? Talk to me about that.
that would be maybe if you're eating from, yeah, say 10 a.m. until 6, 7 p.m., for example.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
most important would be not to eat close to bedtime because we're not made to digest food at night. So you're kind of waking up a system that wants to go to sleep and does not want to work. So
Yeah.
its performance is not good. So I can see that I can eat the same meal, at 5 o'clock, and it will not stress me so much. But if I eat it late for some reason, it will be stress way into the night. So it's
Yeah.
more
And could
visible.
that keep us awake? That would be one of the reasons it keeps us awake because our body's like, oh, wait, I got to do something, but
Yes.
I don't want to.
It will tend to keep us awake, and it will lead to a non-restorative sleep, so that you will wake up, sluggish in the morning, and you haven't been sleeping effectively.
Gotcha. So we keep talking about these different devices. I know you mentioned the Garmin. What other devices can people look at if they don't want to do the Garmin or if they don't have an iWatch? What are some of the other choices?
They could use an Aura ring, OURA. So that's a very good choice also. And it's less intrusive. It's just a ring. Uh, you charge it every 7 days, once a week or so. And that will give you much of the important numbers. You wouldn't be able to micromanage your stress levels like you could on a Garmin. That will
Yeah.
give you the stress levels in the moment and the graphs. You can see this I have a video lecture on thepulsecure.com where I explain how you can use a Garmin to micromanage your stress levels. But or I would give you a recovery score in the morning and a sleep score. It would tell you why it has calculated these scores. And you can put in what you did that day, and it will also auto detect what you have been doing. So you could have been doing, housework putting out from the dishwasher, and it will see that you have done this activity, actually. So, and it will then use artificial intelligence telling you that, okay, when you take a cold shower, for example, your deep sleep is better after that, for example. So it's very helpful to detect what would be the best lifestyle for you. It can tell you the effect of alcohol and late night meals and all of this. You can put it in and tag it so that you will be wiser of what you're doing. Yeah.
Does it change colors, the ring, based on where you are?
No, no.
No? Oh, okay. Because that would be really cool. It'd like turn red.
Mm.
Yes. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You could invent that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Feel free.
Yeah,
Just send me the first one.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's that's interesting because one of the things that came up to mind is, when we're tracking, that's why I like the Garmin thought so much. Because I would have to do a spreadsheet. I would want to be able to see like where's my sleeping pattern, what's going on, how do I adjust it, and knowledge empowers us, right? So if we're aware of
Hmm.
what's going on, if we're aware of what we're doing, then we can make those habit changes, and it starts with awareness because you can't change a
Hmm.
habit or replace, I should say, a habit with a good one if we're not really identifying what the bad one is or what one could be improved on, right?
Hmm.
So that would be
Exactly.
an interesting thing, and that the Garmin shows you that graph, you can really get a good
Yeah.
feeling of, oh, I remember on that day I was doing X, Y, and Z. So yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And it's more motivating when you can see the effect in real time and in numbers. You can see that when you're fasting, you get better numbers. when you're doing cold exposure, like a cold shower or cold plunge, you get a better number. And if you are exercising over time, you get a stronger capacity so you can tolerate more stress. Because
Gotcha.
a lot of people cannot tolerate much stress because their physical capacity is so low. Their VO2 max, the level, the measure of how efficient your body will metabolize oxygen is very low, and you need that to be quite high. And so that your mitochondria are better at processing energy.
Yeah, no, no, it makes perfect sense. I mean, I used to think ice plunging was putting ice in a glass, but apparently it's not. I'm only joking. So, all right, let's do this. I held everybody up for long enough. All right, slowly articulate the 8 strategies that gives us 24 extra years. And how did you figure out 24 extra?
Mm. Yeah, it's an American research that has shown this, and that is from 700,000 American veterans followed over something like 15 years. And they found out that the ones who did these 8 strategies or lifestyle areas right lived 24 years longer than the ones who did them wrong, if they had these strategies from they were 40 years old. The
Wow.
really good thing is that if you start when you're 60, you get 18 years more,
Okay.
So it's not too late, yeah, or even from 70, I think it was still like 12, 13 years
You're
to
still
gain.
gaining time, so start now, anytime. So,
Yeah, and
and this is a
healthy
really
years.
good for the listeners. This is our take action that we want
Mm,
when this episode is done. We want you to start taking these
mm,
actions on these
mm.
8 strategies. So, what are they?
They are to have a good physical, to be moving, to have a good exercise regime. It is to avoid smoking. It is to have a good sleep, that you're effective at your sleep. It's having good stress management, that you have a way to be calm. It is good nutrition, eating nutritious food. It is staying away from opioids. That is important. And
Opioids?
then opioids, like OxyContin,
Oh, yes, OxyContin and
that
opioids.
kind.
Yeah, you should
Yeah.
stay away from opioids anyway. So,
Mm. Yeah.
those
And what
are
more?
very addictive
You
and
should, yeah, and to have good relationships. That's also very important.
there, we need one more for the 8.
One more. Yeah.
That we have good physical exercise, a good exercise
Hmm.
regime, right? We want to
Hmm.
avoid smoking, of course, right? We want good
Alcohol. Date is alcohol.
alcohol.
Little alcohol. And and that is also my experience as a doctor, because I pay particularly attention to when I see people are healthy over 90 years old and when they are not healthy at 70. And if you can cross off that you are doing a good job on all these 8 areas, I see many people going and being vital into their 90s. And if you can cross off that you do all of these things wrong, no physical activity, poor sleep, poor relations, drinking too much alcohol, smoking, all of these things, then you would be lucky to pass 70 years old uh,
Wow.
before you die, right? So most of us would be somewhere in the middle, like going to the average 80 years old. So, but it's a lot to gain from leading a good lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle, like your podcast is all about. It's not just those 2 or 3 years that we used to think, earlier, 20, 30 years ago when I studied medicine, that if you do everything right, maybe you live for 3 or 4 more years, but it would take you 3 or 4 years to do that. So why bother? Now we see that you're talking decades here of extra life and healthy life. So the health span is also longer with these strategies. And of course, also your well-being in the moment also is important.
Or being in the moment. A lot of people aren't being present, aren't in the moment, and they
Yeah.
aren't thinking down the line or thinking of what happened. Being
Mm,
present is really important because it creates a different level in our body
mm.
when we're present.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Then you're calm. Then you have the good hormones, flushing in your system instead
Yeah.
of the stress hormones, because in the moment there is peace. You know, when you worry about the future, have some regrets about the past, that is often stressful, and you don't have any control of it. But you have the control of the moment, and that is to have control is also important.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. We live in such a catastrophic mindset as opposed to an anastrophic. And when you're present, it's anastrophic because there's nothing to think about in
Mm,
the future. It's just where you are right now. Unless a bear's running at you, you're pretty much in
mm,
positive mindset. And
mm,
if a bear's running at you, you need to make better choices. So you shouldn't
mm.
put yourself in the path of a bear. But yeah, all these things are really important. The H strategies are great, the science behind it. What made you become a doctor? What kind of
I
doctor are you? Why
wanted.
did you
I,
travel the
I'm a,
world?
I'm a general practitioner,
You're a GP.
emergency physician, and I became a doctor to be able to understand how everything is connected, but I also wanted to work as a doctor because I knew I could work freelance as I've always done. So I could work in hard in periods intensely, many long hours, and then go traveling somewhere. So that's how I've been living my life, being a freelancer and doing all sorts of things. I've been traveling more than 80 countries around the world and plan on keep doing that. So it has given me a kind of a free life where I can, compose my life as I want to.
While helping other people.
Yes, yes, and learning. So both helping and learning myself, understanding, and also through writing these books because this book has really changed. I would say it has changed Norway's and Norwegians people's attitude towards health. It is if this book was in the US, it had sold comparatively 2.5 million copies. It has
Oh,
just been a just great, really big best-selling book here in Norway. It's translated into 8 languages also.
wow, that's
So
amazing. Congratulations.
so
It's
so
called The
for me
Pulse.
as a normal doctor, it has totally changed my life, because I used to be totally unknown, but now there's something all the time in media, and so it's fun to be a part of that. And this is a way, as you were talking about, this is a way of taking the power of your health from the healthcare system and the doctors and putting it into your own hands,
Yes.
literally. And
Yes.
from having the focus on disease after you get sick and to preventing disease so that you don't get sick or you minimize the chances of you getting sick from these lifestyle diseases.
Yeah, yeah. There's so much that you can control, so why not do it? So be careful of what you put in your mouth. Be careful of what you put on your skin. That's our biggest organ, right? Be careful what you look at and what you listen to. When you do those things and you keep it all positive, you're going to see a change in your life big time. And follow these 8 items these 8 strategies that Doc told us about. You're amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. I would love to have you back again. Find Dr. Torkil's book on Amazon. It's called The Pulse Cure, or you can go to thepulsesecure.com and you can watch his video as well. So just definitely follow him. He is a wealth of information and knowledge, and I'm so grateful to have you here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lorianne. It was great to be able to talk about these things. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us today on Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I hope we have earned the privilege of your time. Look for our show next Saturday at 3 p.m. on JVC Broadcasting and iHeartRadio. And we can also be found on all major platforms and would be so grateful if you please like, follow, share, and subscribe. Until next time, I am Coach Lorianne, America's #1 Take Action Success Coach and Strategist. Let your dreams be bigger than your fears and let your life be filled with joy. See you next time. Take care. Thanks again, Doc.